Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. You know, it's a little early here at the homestead, but we're continuing on with more news released for Cyberstorm Access. In fact, very, very interesting news here. This is a new S-Force card revealed here. Not only is it a new S-Force card, but it's actually a LINK-1, which is as interesting as it gets because we kind of know now in Yu-Gi-Oh! The strongest cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are extra deck cards, and the LINK-1s are the most accessible extra deck cards. So it's about as good as it gets for an archetype. So let's take a look here. This is S-Force Night Chaser. If you don't know, S-Force is all about putting your monsters in the same columns as your opponent's monsters because they have like certain floodgatey effects that hinder your opponent. But we'll talk more about that once we finish with the card. So this is S-Force Night Chaser. By the way, artwork looks awesome. Looks really, really cool. Especially for a LINK-1. A lot of LINK-1s end up being like small and cute, but this one's pretty badass. Alright, LINK-1 Cybers, Link Effect Monster, 800 attacks. Pretty basic for a LINK-1. Points down. That's another thing that also is nice here. Sometimes you get LINK-1s that don't point down. Doesn't open up for other Link plays sometimes, but this one does. So that's cool. And it takes any non-Link S-Force monster. Pretty basic, not generic, but it does take anything in the archetype that we're looking at. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters cannot target monsters in that column for attacks. Small effect here. I mean, nothing too crazy, but with how much like S-Force is usually able to switch columns up, even on the opponent's turn on the fly, being able to protect your board from attacks is kind of nice, especially thrown on a LINK-1. So like that's really the big deal here. I wouldn't have expected a LINK-1 to have a really, really insane floodgate effect as far as, you know, the S-Force mechanics have gone. But we'll take that. That's actually not too bad. And the second effect, during the main phase, quick effect. Cheese and rice on a LINK-1. You can target one S-Force monster you control as cost. Shuffle it into the deck, then you can special summon one of your banished S-Force monsters. Whoo, boy. Yeah, that's really good. Like, obviously, the only way they could have made this, like, better, really, in any way, is if they made this, say, like, do the same thing, but summon an S-Force monster from deck instead of banish. So, like, the only drawback of this card is that you have to do something with your play to get some stuff banished first. But there's multiple cards that, like, plus on summon. If you can get a Chiyomaru banished, like, obviously getting her back is really, really good. Is it Platina summons from banish, I believe. So I think we're looking at Gravitino is the one that searches when he's summoned. He also has one of the better floodgate effects as well. So being able to get him, search a card, and get his floodgate effect live, and the fact that we're doing it on the main phase as a quick effect to be able to place him in any zone at the right opportune time is very, very nice. So yeah, like, this card seems really good for the deck. I still hold... Now, this is really nice. I still hold the same concerns for the archetype where they built this archetype to have all these like little floodgatey effects, and let's be honest, they are little. They are not that good. That's always been my biggest gripe with S-Force, is that as far as those main deck floodgatey kind of column effects go, Gravitino's is like really the only one of like actual substance. Gravitino, I believe, says any monster in his column when it leaves the field is banished instead. It's pretty good versus graveyard decks and decks that like are going into the extra deck, but you know, they need their stuff to go to grave to be able to keep playing, get resources, so he would be pretty good there. But outside of him, not a single other one is like actually good. They almost made Dog Tag awesome, but then they didn't, because it only negates stuff on your turn. It's just not enough. Like, it needs to be interruption for your opponent on their turn, and that's just the truth. So this card is awesome. This card is really, really good for S-Force. Now we kind of just need like one or two more like really good like actual floodgatey monsters for the deck, just because, like I said, the only one that like actually is worth it is Gravitino. And the only other thing I want to mention, I want to look at here real quick, is this one other card, Retroactive, because he has an interesting effect. Let's see. If a monster you control would be used as linked material for an S-Force monster, this card in your hand can be used as material. This is particularly interesting because does that mean, like, literally this dude can just make this LINK-1 from hand? Because it's a LINK-1. Like, you wouldn't have to use anything on field. It says if a monster you control, so that's really interesting. Not exactly sure what's, like, how that might work, you know, ruling wise, but if that's a thing, that was a card that was like not as good for the deck, but now could be way better because he's just also we'll throw the LINK-1 on the field for free. Pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on here, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below if you're a fan of S-Force. In fact, I know there's a lot of fans of S-Force who follow the channel, because almost anytime I make a video talking about what decks should get support, what kind of archetypes are you hoping get support in a certain set, I always see comments about S-Force. So let me know your thoughts on this. How much do you think it pushes them? Any specific synergies that I didn't mention here down below, I'd love to hear. And what else do you think the deck might need specifically? Like me, you know, I'm really looking at the main deck, hoping for another good monster or two. But yeah, that's it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more news videos from your boy. I think this puts us at 16 or 17 cards left. And by the way, these last two cards were the Fusion and the Link monster we've been waiting for. So now we're sitting here looking at those 4 priority monster slots that are really high priority. One's high priority spell slot and a trap slot. So we've still got 6 really high priority slots here. Glad they finished strong with these. The Fusion for dual avatar seems pretty nice for them. And this card, obviously, for the Links, being a really nice card for S-Force. I like to see it. It's good stuff. So, here we go. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.